I have started the recording. This is design 320. It's our lecture. It's March 16th. This is week 9, I think. Woo! Week 9, start of our second half. And so that's really cool. We're going to finish up our project on low impact design this week. Next week, we're going to kind of like put everything together into a first half portfolio and just kind of look back and let things soak in a little bit. It's good before we go charging on with the last stuff that we're going to do to just take a break and let it soak in. So there will be work next week and it will be presentation work, but it'll be a chance for you to go back and just really look at all the things that you've done. Hopefully feel very good about all those things that you've done. Everything I've been seeing is great. And just put it all together so that as you go into the break, you've got a really nice, which starts on the 29th, I think. Is that when our break starts? Yeah. Monday the 29th through Sunday, April 4th is spring break. You'll have just kind of like, wow, look at all that I did. It's done and it's set. And then we're just going to apply it even more in the last few weeks of the class, the last 5 weeks. So there we go. That's what we're going to do. Let's take a look at our to-do list. Here we are, project 2, week 2. We're not following exactly the schedule from the syllabus. Certain things you did faster, certain things slower. We're getting it all in and all done. And so this is project 2, week 2, lid features, commercial renovation. This happens a lot. So let's take a look. We're adding the lid features to the design. So last week, your job was to create an existing and a new construction design for the commercial building. And now you're going to do the low impact design portion of the project, which is to ensure or mitigate the effects of high amounts of rainwater on the system. Urban runoff control. And you might wonder why we're doing that when we're in the middle of a drought. But when it does rain, it still happens. So we still have runoff when it does rain. Hopefully, we'll get enough rain this year to have some good runoff times. But it does happen, and so we need to do it. And then there are other, I mean, some people just water their driveways and stuff, which we have to still stop people from doing. So we're going to add the lid features. And remember, what we're focusing on is lid principle number 3, which states that you just want to try to slow the water down and keep it on site as much as you can. So we've got a little preview for this week's topic that you can watch. It's 7 or 8 minutes long that goes over everything. We have a playlist, a video playlist that doesn't have much in it yet. Just it's a long one, but it's the tutorial on how I did the project. So it took me 26 minutes to do the model. Maybe it'll take you an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on how much work and effort. My model's okay. It's nothing great, but it looks pretty good. It's enough to get started with. If you really want to really push your limits, there's a lot that you can do to really pull this thing into shape. But there's that one. And this evening, I will make the tutorial for Revit. Welcome, Brian. Good to have you in. Okay, so remember, here's your assignment. At least 2 lid features. I think you can put in 4 or even more without a problem. So, but at least 2, okay, added to your new construction drawing. Now, I know that a few people were not able to get a new construction drawing done, and an additional few people told me that they got it done, but they weren't really happy with it. So I made 2 files that you can start with. Okay, there's a SketchUp file and there's a Revit file. You can go to those, you can open them, you can download them, and you can put your lid features on one of those 2 files. The only thing is that when you put it into your presentation, your submittal, you need to let people know, excuse me, you need to let people know that you took my file and used it. A base file provided by the instructor. You've got submittal to do. There's the executive summary, site visualizations. That I would like. Yeah, the VMware works. I'm on it right now, actually. So May, if you're having trouble with the VMware, let me know. Yes, and Aaron asks, are you still able to use your own Revit file? Yes, you can. Okay. So site visualizations, that's of the lid concept. Okay, you've got your site visualizations from your existing and new construction already. Now we want, well, this will put them all together. And then visualizations of feature 1 and feature 2, and then of course your participation. So let's take a look and see what that's going to look like. Now notice this. Let's see. Make a copy of this file. Okay. Add this slide deck to the end of week 8. Right? This week, I will take off points if you don't do that. I know a few people did not do that in Project 1. They just kept them separate. I would like you to take this, copy these, and put them at the end of Deck 1, the one that you just did last week. All right. So if you have trouble with that, let me know. But basically, you go like this. You highlight those, right click, copy, go to your old one, right click, paste. And I did that a few times in some of the previous ones. If somebody needs some help with that, the whole thing, please. So Leah asked, do you want everything or just the new things? I do want everything because this is important to me to know, and this is important to me to know. And by the way, I've noticed that some of you only do one of these. Okay. If you watched it all and you were at the live meet, you can make them both green. That's okay. I've yet to see anybody make them both green, but I know that some people have done both. So you're actually allowed to make 2 of these green. Now, if you make them all 3 green, I know that you're faking me somehow because you can't totally ignore it if you were there and you watched it. So, but feel free to do more of than these. So yes, please put the whole thing in. When you make your final portfolio, you are going to bring out just the portions that you want, but not on this one. Okay, so that's cool. I think that's good. Oh, let's take a look at it again. So you guys all know how to do this. This is good. You're all getting really good at this. I see that there's a mistake there. This is overall visuals. What I'm talking, I got disconnected again. Let me go back and got reconnect. I know all the time I'm going back and forth and back. It doesn't leave you on for that long. That is one thing that's kind of like I always got to get on and off and on and off. But your visuals would be like some combination of these 4. Okay, some combination. You could maybe get it all in one. Okay, but some combination of these 4. Okay, so with your lid on there, this one, focus on one of the lid design features. Okay, pick one of your lid design features, and on this one, pick another one. If you did more than that, you may duplicate the slide and change the numbers. So if you did more than one, or sorry, more than two, you can add the slides. I'm just really doing a kind of lousy job here. Delete. Delete. There we go. 1, 2. There we go. Okay, so if you have more to show, you are allowed to go ahead and put more of these on. Okay, so there it is. And what you're looking at, the SketchUp tutorial I've done, I'll do the Revit tutorial. Even if you're only, if you're doing SketchUp, I still want you to watch the Revit tutorial. And if you're doing Revit, I still want you to watch the SketchUp tutorial. Okay, that sounds cool. There's that. All right, so I wanted to go over a few things today for you, even though you've got a tutorial that's step by step. And there it is. I want to talk about the rain barrels, which are primitives, the sheet flow diverter, which is the follow me command, the infiltration trench, which is basically just surface materials, and using the 3D warehouse. So I probably won't go into as much detail as these, except I want to do this. Are we going to get enough water? Okay, and how long will it take to drain one of these? So I'm going to do the how long will it take to drain first. Okay, because if it fills up and then it takes too long to drain, by the time the next little storm comes in, then that's a problem. So around here, I've done a little research, and you can go back and check me on it. Most storm cells last 10 to 15 minutes, and then there's a 15 to 20, even a 30-minute break between storm cells. So we would like to make sure that the storm barrel drains sort of
Mr.
slowly.
Schuster, what is a storm cell?
Oh, Jake, a storm cell is a group of clouds that comes and actually drops the water. And they call it a storm cell. So when a storm comes through, it doesn't just like rain at the same rate for hour after hour after hour. It dumps a bunch and then it moves past you, and then it's okay for a little while, and then it dumps a bunch and moves. So when it's dumping rain on you, they call that a storm cell. That's a cool question. That's groovy. And so, and that's actually important to know, because you want to even out this water so that it doesn't all dump on you in 15 minutes and go right into your storm drain. And so rain barrels are good for that. They gather some of the rain and then it lets it out slowly. So let's see how long it'll go. I put this thing on here, and I have a little calculator that I found that I like. So what is the bottom area of the tank? The bottom of the barrel. The barrel, what is its area? In meters. I made my barrel like 23-inch diameter. So I went and said, area of 23-inch diameter. And I get this little there it is in square meters. 0.268 about square meter, a quarter of a square meter. Well, that's cool. Okay. And then I chose to put a 1-inch drain on it. 1-inch drain. Well, that's not very many meters at all. But then I plug those into this little online formula, and it calculates how long it's going to take to drain out. 360 seconds, which I'm pretty sure, if I do my math right, is 6 minutes. So that's not bad. It's going to take 6 minutes. So by the time it starts raining and starts filling up, and let's say it rains for 15 minutes or so, and my water barrel fills in about 15 minutes, then it'll take about 6 minutes to drain. So that's kind of slowing down how everything works. But let's take a look at this. So I've got all this roof area that I want to drain into here. So in that 15 minutes, how much water is going to hit my roof? Well, I got to figure that one out too. Figure that one out. So if I do this little area command thing, why is this not working? Dang it, don't tell me I got bonked out again. When you just work, it doesn't usually kick you off. It's in between. There we go. 609 square feet. So the area of my roof, I've got two of those, is about 1,200 square feet. 1,200 square feet. I'm going to pull up my calculator. 1,200 square feet. And the volume of water. What's a big rain event in 15 minutes around here? Anybody know what's the most that you can ever remember dumping? How much rain in 15 minutes? Well, that's about a quarter of an hour, and the biggest rain that I can ever recall seeing was an inch in an hour. So I'm going to say it's 0.25 inches. Okay, so that's times 0.25. And to get that into feet, I have to divide by 12. 25 cubic feet. 25 cubic feet of water is going to fall on my roof. I wonder if that's going to fill up those barrels or not. 25 cubic feet of water. Let's find out. Volume of 55-gallon drum in cubic feet. 7, a little over 7. So if I have 4 of those, it will be about 28, 29 cubic feet. Oh, that's a pretty good match, don't you think? 4 barrels is 29 cubic feet, and I'm going to dump 25 cubic feet in. I think I got a pretty good match. I think my barrels, 4 barrels, will be pretty good. So this is not a required part of the presentation, but what I'm trying to lean towards here is as you do design, you always want to check and see if it'll work and say, I wonder if. And a lot of times your wonder if requires a calculation. And as you calculate, Google's great. It's like, I can go through all the calculations to this, to this, to this, to this, but Google's awesome. Just type in, what is the volume of a 55-gallon drum in cubic feet? And it'll tell you. And then how much area is my roof? And see if they match. And in this case, my gosh, it's disconnecting me constantly now. I have to go back and get that area. Okay, so I want to make sure that I get those. So now let's talk about the rain barrel. I don't need some awesome rain barrel. I need something that I can point at and label rain barrel. And so what is a rain barrel? A rain barrel is a cylinder. So I'll make one. And I looked it up. And you can look it up too. You can look up how big is a rain barrel? How big is a 55-gallon drum? That's what they make them out of. How tall? What are the dimensions? And you can look at one of these and probably look at the dimensions. Say, how big around is a 65-gallon drum. Oh, what is the size? There we go. That's probably pretty good. Dimensions, drum it up, drum it up. So you can go into the 34.7 tall, blah, blah, blah. It'll say 20.5 diameter. So there's all sorts of those that you can use. I think on my, so I'll use 22. Man, this is just killing me today. It works. I've been on it all day long. It's probably getting tired of me. There we go. So I'm going to get rid of this thing. And you know, when I do circle, if I want my circles to be better, I can change this number down here. And, oh, see, it's doing the radius. So I'll make it an 11, and I got to put in inch. And then I got to make a height. And it said it was 34, 35, so I'll make it 35 inches. There's a rain barrel. And the takeaway here, remember, I want to make it into a group so it's easier to work with. Now I have a rain barrel. Now I just go put them places. And I remember that I can move things. I'll just take, and I don't have to be precise here. I kind of want it under the eaves there. And then I remember if I hold the control key down, it makes a copy, and I didn't do that very well, but I'll move that one now. And see how it says, I want to say on face if I can. There it goes. That's on the face. That'll say on face. On face. I'd like to get it on the face and then move it again, if possible. Just works better. And then you can do the same thing on the other side. And in the thing, I think I showed putting it out here somewhere and then spinning it around and moving it into place. I don't know exactly where it is, but it's probably kind of close. Now it needs to move over a little more, maybe. There. So that is a lid feature. So as you present this one, if you're going to focus on your barrels, you would take various images to use. It's just really not going back and forth out of this at all. I think what I need to do is get it off of that tab. Whoa, what did I do there? There we go. What's up? So you can focus in on it. You could put some dimensions on it if you want. You can I think you can click a dimension on it. You probably have to explode it. Put a dimension on it. I don't know what that's doing. I'm not doing a very good demo today. Okay, but you'll want to do these things and just make note, annotate it. How did it get here? Where are you going to have to drain? You probably want to drain this half of the roof. And so you'll take it from here and here, draining in over to this one, here to here, draining in over to this one, kind of the same thing over here, this one draining over this way, this one. So you'll just play around with this, and in your presentation, you'll just do a nice job of saying, hey, here's my things. And you can even add that you have a 1-inch pipe coming out of it. You can talk about the placement, things like that. Okay. So now there's another thing I'm going to do. I think I'll do the sheet flow diverter. And I showed you 2 styles, and I'm going to do a simple one here that uses the follow me. And so let's say I want a sheet flow diverter that looks kind of like that. See, when I'm looking down straight on it, kind of going sideways. Okay, like that. So that everything that flows this way will run into the bump and flow over here. Now this one, let me come back to here. I'm going to come back to I'm going to hide that one in my scene 4. And I'm going to update it. So now whenever I come back to scene 4, that line will be gone. Okay, so I've got a vertical surface here, so I can make a bump. Right there. So I'm going to do an arc 3 points, so I need something that goes up maybe 1.5 inches. Not very big, is it? Maybe comes out 3 inches and comes the other way 3 inches. And that lets me make a 3-point arc from here to here, here. There, I've got a little bump. That's a sheet flow diverter. Now, if I get my view right, I can see a lot of that follow me, and I should be able to follow me right along it. There, I got a sheet flow diverter. And you can take a few views of that, right? For your portfolio, for your presentation. You know, you can show this and you can say about how big it is, and you can show angles of where it's going to go. And you can say it's going to go off to this area over here. Another cool thing to do, if you want to, which we didn't talk about, is you could put a drain from your rain barrel with just a little drain, and you can make a pipe that goes underneath the driveway over to this area that's low, where it comes up in a swale. So you don't have to do just what I showed you. You can do a little more if you want. But that's how you make a sheet flow diverter, so that all this water, and you would say that I'm going to drain in this direction, the water comes off of there and bake over this way. Okay. So now the other thing you might want, though, is an infiltration trench. Okay, and in mine, in my demo, I showed it back there, but I'm going to show it kind of over here this time. I'm going to show it right over here. And it's just something that if they slope this walkway correctly, everything will kind of come off the walkway and come over here. And instead of running in a little river right down to the street, it'll come off over here. Now, how am I going to make that thing? Okay, well, I'm just gonna draw a thing here. I'm gonna draw a line somewhere near the edge, not right on it. I'm having a hard time seeing it, so I'm going to go into. I'm going to change my style because I'm having a hard time seeing. Wow, I am just having troubles today. Right when I said everything's working just fine. Okay, so let me get rid of this thing. I'll just do something kind of like that. That's going to be my infiltration trench. That's what I like about the scenes. It changes things for me. So that'll be my infiltration trench. I can make it go farther if I want. But now the reason I'm showing you this, I'm showing you different tools and different things. And I'm showing you how something might look when you do just a basic thing. Doesn't look like much, this bump. So you're going to have to label it eventually. So this infiltration trench, which is for some reason not flat on my surface. I don't know why I'm not getting a good flat surface right there. On the face. It has to say on the face. There we go. That one will do it. And now I can put a material on. And what was the material for? I think it was under landscaping, and it was something like some gravel or something like that. There. I've got an infiltration trench. And remember, underneath there is something. Okay, but I just need to be able to say that under there is something. So now I'm not going to see that in my scene 4. So I might have to go to a different scene to be able to see everything that I've got. I can see there, I can see it. I can see my sheet flow diverter, infiltration trench, rain barrels. And then the last thing that I need to show you is how to make the swale. And in one, I made them kind of long. In another one, I made a round one. Let me go ahead and make one this time that's long again. So let's say I want a long, thin swale. Like that. And swales aren't very deep and they're not very steep, but they do go inward. They slope down and in. Let me do that again. There we go. Gonna move in. I'll move in 6 inches. And I don't know if I did 6 inches there. Yep. And so I can make each of these up 3 or 4 inches taller. I did 6 inches in my demo, but I don't need to. So let me press pull this one up, let's say a foot. Oh, I did 1 inch. And maybe 9 inches. and 6 inches. There. Now I've got a, and I can bring this one up maybe 3 inches. There, I've got a swale. That can be my swale. And I can leave this end off if I want, so it looks like water is going to flow in there pretty well. Let me go ahead and see what happens if I erase some of these end lines. And I think I'll leave it on there for now. Okay, but remember, once I have a thing, I make it into a group. And then I move my group into place. And I want like this top corner to be on the face over here somewhere. There. That looks pretty cool. Now I have a swale. Oh, no, I'm going to, that's not that good. I'm going to need to sink it down into the ground a little more, aren't I? There we go. So that's sort of a swale where it can just draw right in there. And I can rotate it if I want it to be a little bit higher. I want it to take a little bit more. That was 0.5. Let me go another 0.25. So see how I get to kind of play with this to make it look kind of like a cool swale that will go in there. There, that's looking pretty good. So water can flow this way and into my little ditch that's over here. And I can break these edges down, but this is enough to show what's going on. So now I've got a swale. I've got all 4 components. So I better save this. File, save as. The last thing is if you want to, and I suggest you should if you're using SketchUp, you go to the warehouse, you sign up. It may make you sign up, but then you can get in here and I can find things like tall grass. And I'll look at the models. And I've looked at some of these. They're pretty good. This is a nice one, as I recall. Look, it's only 111 kilobytes. So I can put 10 of those in and my thing's only 1 meg bigger. Remember, the more stuff you put in here and the bigger it gets, the less responsive your program is. But I can download that and put a couple of them in there right into my SketchUp. And those might be down at one end or the other. I'm going to put them up at this end maybe. And then I can do my copy. And since this is a small file, I don't mind making a bunch of them. Now it looks more swaley. Because remember, a swale is supposed to have stuff that sort of slows down the water and can help soak it up and all that kind of stuff. So I've got some of those. Let me go look for some more. It's nice to have a nice little variety, right? So here, I have no clue if this kind of grass grows around there, but that was not too bad. I don't want too many of those. Well, look how huge it is. That thing's huge. How do I make that smaller? I scale it. Click, scale. That's about how big it ought to be. And then I don't know why this big blocky thing is on there. Let's see what happens if I explode it. There we go. Huh, that's much better. So now I can copy those. Well, first I have to move it, right? So who knows how big it really is, but looks a little too big maybe. And maybe I'll put some boulders in. I like boulders. These are always so big. What are they thinking? 3 MB. Nice to get a little group of rocks sometimes. You can put these in one at a time too. Maybe that, oh, look, that one says it's by me. 4 MB, not by me. I'm not liking any of these. Let me look for rocks. 3 MB. Why are these all so big? They're just rocks. That one's not too bad. 1 MB. 1 MB. Well, maybe I'll put one of these in just for fun. And that one, oh, it's a little, it's hanging over the side a little bit. Wow, lock up, lock up, lock up. You get used to it, folks. And of course, I'm working on this thing right now. I better save my file. Partly this thing is getting big now, too. Or at least it's on there. So now I've got a swale that I can show too. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. It just has to kind of look like a swale. It doesn't even have to be built right. You're going to draw a picture at it and make it say that that's a swale. And when you do your detailed design and your grading and your landscape stuff, then you'll go into it. You're just proposing a thing right now. Okay, so there's my scene 4 now. That includes my swale, sheet flow diverter, and my rain barrels. And here's one that shows my infiltration trench, rain barrels, this. So you can take your different views and make them work out. Okay, so that's the demo. Those all go on. Better do a quick save. That's going to go into your overall one. And then when you look at these ones, you'll go get a general view of the feature. So as an example, if I want to see the swale, I might get a nice, that would maybe be one zoom in of it. Okay, so I'd export that. To show my actual swale. Thought I had that captured. Go. And if you have something to say about it, that would be good. Maybe some retention time or something like that. And then my general view of the feature might be taken from here to show where in general that it is. Something like that. There's my general view of the feature, and I would say and on here you might put something like, you know, tall grasses, rocks, shrub, or if you knew what the name of them there were, what they are, that would be good. You could put notes on here if you want to move this over. You could put notes on the depth, right? 6-on-3 side slope to depth of 18-inch or depth of 1 foot. Typical along the thing. You could give a total volume of the swale. So if you want to, you can add a lot of cool information, but you don't have to. You could just get by with the pictures, but do make sure that you know what it's called. Okay. And then so for your last view, if it even comes up, let's see if I can come in and for my last detailed view, I might come in to where I can actually identify those types of plants. Okay, and I might have to change this some because that's not looking that great, right? I might have to get into something like this. No. Ooh, that's kind of cool looking though. See if I can get rid of those strokes. There's a way for me to get rid of those strokes. And now I don't know what it is. Oh, I bet you if I do an export, Let's see what my export looks like. Learning stuff right here with you. Nope, the export has them too. That's okay, but you could call things out and you can, so I'm just looking for a third detail there. Okay. Just add some sort of a third detail. Something that makes sense to you. You could do a section view of it. That might look interesting. Let me show you how to do that. So let me come back here and I'll show you how to do a section view. So that's this one right here, a section plane to expose the interior. So I want my section plane to go up and down. So I'm going to put it on that. Now I have something that's going up and down. See how I can see? And you can see I've got this big underground area there because it's kind of weird. But I can move my section plane too. Okay, I know I can move it. There we go. And there's something that says align view, right? In any case, you can go and look at it. Oh. There's a way to look directly at that. Match new photo, 2 points, standard views. Don't know where that one. Do you know where that is, Natalia? I know there's a way because I've done it before plenty of times where you can just look straight at the section plane. Okay, but that's kind of cool. It kind of shows how the swale works and stuff. Okay. But yeah, section view is kind of cool. That's a good one. Especially if you want to look through like your driveway or something. Isn't that cool how that works? So if you had an inside to your building, you could look in there actually. Okay. So that's kind of cool. Oh, that's kind of groovy looking, isn't it? You want to do some things like that. Okay. Any other questions? That's good stuff. How did I get cars on the parking lot? There's a good question. Not sure. Let me see how I did that. So I went to the 3D warehouse and I'm in kind of a top view. I like to be in a top view or close to a top view when I do that. 3D warehouse. Cool. That one's a nice, small, easy car. There we go. Download directly into it. And see how the thing says on face? It's on the face now. Click. Now, if you got a crummy model where the thing was up in the air or something, it's really hard to do. Yeah, but now I need to rotate it, right? Rotate. That looks pretty good. I need to move it maybe a little bit more. They're all red. There. So Janice, all I did was I put it on it. I think it helps to be in a top view. So that's helpful. And then you might get a bad model that just was not drawn on the ground. And it can be that way. So it could be that you got a crummy model too. Okay. Did that come close enough, Janice, to answering? Like, yeah, right, yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, well, great work. You can look for the Revit tutorial to be posted later on tonight. I'll get this posted later on this afternoon. Watch them to your heart's content, and away we go. Thank you so much.